Yesterday's qualifying was a shambles. No driver in Q3 able to better their time after playing the blocking game. It resulted in one of the most bizarre scenes in Formula 1 history. A farce, they are calling it. Welcome, though, to what should be an exciting Italian Grand Prix. Just 1 week on then from the Belgian Grand Prix in Spa, we are in Italy at the Autodromo Nazionale di Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Celebrating 90 years of Ferrari and its 89th race. We're at Monza. It is round number 14 of the season. After this, it's the last European race of the year before we go on to Singapore on the 22nd of September, then over to Russia, Japan, Mexico, United States, Brazil, and rounding out the season on the 1st of December. In the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton leads on 268 points. Valtteri Bottas on 203. Verstappen is fighting with Vettel and Leclerc over third place in the title. They are getting tasty, especially after Leclerc's victory. Vettel, the only driver in the top 5 not to win a race so far this year. Looking further down, Gasly and Sainz are battling over 6th. Kvyat, Raikkonen, Albon, Norris, Ricciardo, Perez and Hülkenberg, along with Stroll and Magnussen, all battling for that top 9 positions, all getting awfully close going into the end of the season. That's then followed by Grosjean on 8 points and Giovinazzi and Kubica on 1, and George Russell, the only driver without a point. In the Constructors' Championship, Mercedes leads the way, 471 points, over 100.5 clear of Ferrari, who are on 326. Red Bull as well on a class of their own on 254 in third. They look like to be the top 3 teams of the year. It's still close, McLaren 4th with Toro Rosso 5th, but Toro Rosso are battling Renault at the moment, who are also battling Racing Point. Alfa and Haas are battling it out over 8th place, and the mighty have fallen. Haas going for 4th last year, struggling to hold off 9th this year, and Williams, of course, just happy they've got 1 point and get some money out of the bonus boards. It's the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza, the 89th running but the 90th official Grand Prix. Welcome to the Italian Grand Prix at Monza. Hello everybody and welcome to the Sunday race preview for the Italian Grand Prix and what has been the most bizarrest of qualifyings in Formula 1 history, and the preview show today should be even better. We've got Dad joining us in a few moments, our pit reporter Ian Birch. He'll be joining us to tell us what happened in qualifying as well. But first of all, let's take a look at what happened in all of qualifying with the report. So let's take a look at the qualifying report, and as ever we'll start with the first part of qualifying. Leclerc, very impressive as Hülkenberg and Perez stoppages bring out the red flag in qualifying number 1. A note from race director Michael Masi ahead of the session enforced a minimum speed for drivers. They must complete the circuit within 1 minute and 45 seconds. So that is after the dramatic Formula 3 qualifying the other day. That meant that the teams had to be extra canny in putting their drivers out in just the right place on the circuit to gain the toe, which is the slipstream advantage. It's such a high-speed circuit with a series of straights that getting the toe can be worth 0.2 of a second. That is why it's important, and that's why we saw in Formula 3 loads of drivers trying to get that advantage. He may have to start from the back of the grid anyway, but there was worries for Max Verstappen, who reported issues with his Red Bull Honda power unit on the one run he had in the session. He didn't complete the time. He was 20th, but he started to 20th anyway, so no worries there. There was a brief stoppage. Meanwhile, Sergio Perez pulled off what looked to be his second power unit issue in as many weeks for Racing Point. Having not set a good time enough, he was put no higher than 17th on the grid when he stopped and found himself out of Q1, meaning that teammate Lance Stroll out-qualified him for the first time this season, and that means the first time in their current partnership. Knocked out of the session as well was Romain Grosjean, narrowly pushed into the drop zone in the final moments of the session, along with Williams' George Russell, teammate Robert Kubica, and of course Max Verstappen, who never set a time. So just to confirm, knocked out in qualifying 1 were Grosjean, Perez, Russell, Kubica and Verstappen. On to qualifying 2 then, and for the first time this weekend, Mercedes topped the timesheets with Lewis Hamilton in the lead ahead of Charles Leclerc. The first time this weekend that Mercedes have topped the timesheets, not Ferrari having dominated all 3 practice sessions in the first part of qualifying. Hamilton and Mercedes found themselves outpacing the Ferraris for the first time in the weekend, just by 0.089 of a second at the end of Q2, and having been generously towed around Monza by teammate Bottas as Vettel were finished in 3rd place. It was very much a turf war between Alfa Romeo's Antonio Giovinazzi, who missed out on a place in Q3, and his home track by just 2 1,000ths of a second, that's 2 thousandths of a second, by his teammate of Kimi Raikkonen. Horrible for him as well. He was eliminated along with the second Haas of Kevin Magnussen, which put, plus the 2 Toro Rossos of Danny Kvyat and Pierre Gasly, split by Lando Norris. So just to confirm, Lando Norris is set to start from the back of the grid as well, as he's taken a new power unit of Renault. So eliminated in qualifying 2 were Giovinazzi, Magnussen, Kvyat, Gasly and Norris. On to qualifying 3 now, and it was Charles Leclerc who took pole position. But it was one of the most stupidest things ever seen in Formula 1, and certainly one of the most bizarrest. First off, qualifying 3 was red flagged after Kimi Raikkonen, on his first hot lap, came round the parabolica, just touched the curb, got a little bit of oversteer and put it into the back of the barrier. He's wrecked his gearbox, he has a 5-place grid penalty, he'll start 15th on the grid. But the red flag came out, and that stopped Valtteri Bottas from sending a lap time in the session in the first half. But, interesting enough, the stewards investigated Sebastian Vettel for sending his fastest lap in Q3 with all 4 wheels off the track. However, later deemed that they gave him the benefit of the doubt. When the session resumed, it was the waiting game, and the first one to blink was Renault's Nico Hülkenberg. However, on the last lap of qualifying, everybody decided to try an IndyCar restart. 2 by 2, blocking each other, holding each other up, all trying to be the last one to get a tow, because nobody wanted to be the first. That meant that Carlos Sainz let it go. Charles Leclerc just crossed the line before the checkered flag came out, but every other driver missed the opportunity to put a fast lap in. The red lights came on, they all missed the checkered flag. What a disaster here in qualifying 3. A crazy qualifying then here at Monza. I'm joined now by Dad. Hi Dad, you were in the commentary box as well. That was a horrific shambles.
Well, what can you say about it? A bunch of kids in the morning got it all wrong. A bunch of older kids in the afternoon got it completely wrong. And we know what the tow was for, but did they all have to do that? That was ridiculous. Christian said that it was a shambles. Toto said he couldn't believe it. 35 years of racing and he's never seen anything like it. He should have watched us in the morning when the F3 did it. And at the end of the day, what happened? All went to the stewards, and what happened? F3, all penalised. You know,
everyone starting in the back of the grid.
Armstrong, completely in F2, loses his pole for something minor, right? And then, loses his podium for something minor. Is it the fact that Ferrari, Italian Grand Prix, are 2 cars involved, that we got no action virtually against the top 10 yesterday? Not you, Kimi.
No, he was right.
You were just daft enough to put it in the barriers.
He does have a 5-place grid penalty, by the way, Kimi Raikkonen, so he does start 15th on the grid with that. As that promotes his teammate Giovinazzi on home soil up into 10th place. But it was like watching an IndyCar restart in terms of a normal Formula 1 qualifying. That was just it was not right.
At least I know where they're going.
Yeah.
It was a case of the fact that Sainz, who got penalised even more than the rest, decided, hang on a minute, we're not going to make the end here, right? Yeah. I mean, Hülkenberg, what he did, right, I know every driver does it, but what he did, and he wasn't penalised as much as Sainz.
No, just for that, he could have crossed the turn 1 deliberately to avoid towing Stroll.
Rosberg.
Yeah, which he did a few years ago.
And who complained about that and said, don't listen, every driver does it, and anyone who doesn't do it is lying.
Was it Nico?
Yeah.
what a surprise. Just to pick up on that as well.
Our rival, by the way, because he's got a lot more money, a lot more equipment, and he actually gets these passes that say access all area.
Yeah. Well, we didn't, but that's a different story. Well, we did sort of, but didn't. That's another story for the podcast coming up on Tuesday. All drivers in qualifying 3 were under investigation for unsafe driving and blocking. Vettel, Hülkenberg, Sainz and Stroll all cleared of charges, especially Sebastian Vettel, but Hülkenberg, Sainz and Stroll got an official reprimand for that, and Vettel was also under investigation for another reason, for his Q2 lap in red flagging, but he went off at the parabolica. They gave him the benefit of the doubt.
How do you think the guys in 10th and further on felt when the lads in front of them were allowed to do that and get away with it?
I know, it's ridiculous, because 19 of the 30 cars in Formula 3 got a penalty for that, and if that had changed, it would have been the front row of Stroll and Magnussen first and second.
Yeah.
And I think that should have been what happened, because that was a farce.
It was deemed to have been, if we do what we need to do, it would be too dangerous.
Yeah, and especially because we've got
But
Leclerc
then you
on
get it
pole.
in Formula 2 and Formula 3 with the reverse grid pole all the time. So, you know, you actually get people battling for that 8th position, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah, because
They'll give up the 7th position to keep 8th, so they get pole on the Sunday.
and more points in the championship. Yeah, the constructors didn't happen like that.
Hey up, I'm going real Yorkshire.
Yes, well, it was an bye gun moment. I think I've done that wrong.
Yorkshire tea with now taken out.
I do like Yorkshire tea. We'll just do it quickly then.
Caffeine free.
Caffeine free, yeah. That's you. Yeah, you're caffeine free.
Caffeine free.
I buzz around the
My
control.
name is caffeine free.
Just picking up then, just quick. No.
Caffeine free.
Let's pick up on what happened then.
To my school.
No, see, I told you he was full of jokes when he first came into it in
My physics teacher, Seymour Clear, he's got a new job now. He's retired.
Specsavers.
Specsavers.
Yeah, I knew they were going with that one. Right, let's just quickly then take a look at the grid then for the Italian Grand Prix. Let's take a look then at the starting grid for the Italian Grand Prix. Charles Leclerc on pole position, Lewis Hamilton is alongside him. Row 2, Valtteri Bottas and Sebastian Vettel. 2 Ferraris in the first 2 rows at the Italian Grand Prix. That's just spectacular. Row 3, Daniel Ricciardo and Nico Hülkenberg. Row 4, Carlos Sainz and Alexander Albon. And row 5, Lance Stroll and Kimi Raikkonen. Row 6, Antonio Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen. Row 7, Danny Kvyat and Romain Grosjean. Row 8, Sergio Perez and George Russell. Row 9, Robin Kubica, Lando Norris. And row 10 for Pierre Gasly and Max Verstappen. Car 33 of Max Verstappen is permitted to start. Car 4, Lando Norris. Car 10, Pierre Gasly. And car 33 of Max Verstappen are required to start from the back of the grid due to additional power unit element used. There are a few changes to that though since we recorded that last night, because Leclerc's still on pole position, but the top 10 has now changed. So from Stroll below it's changed. So Giovinazzi starts 10th, Magnussen's now 11th, Kvyat 12th, Grosjean 13th, Perez 14th, Raikkonen demoted to 15th, Russell keeps his position 16th, Kubica 17th, and it's the normal with Norris, Gasly and Verstappen at the back of the grid.
The other week when we got a Formula 1 race where everybody started in the place they qualified.
Yes, it was magical.
heaven.
Yeah. Well, we were lucky because 2 years ago at this circuit, only one driver qualified and started where he qualified. That was Lewis Hamilton in 2017.
I think they should have let Fernando have a go in the McLaren yesterday.
Probably would have done better than where Stroll ended up down. Not Stroll. Sainz.
Sat on that chair, thinking this isn't the beach chair.
He does love the beach chairs, doesn't he? He's not racing at the moment, Fernando, but he is doing Dakar, which is very much a beach circuit as well in Saudi Arabia. Right, Dad, prediction for the race, and then you can go.
Well, I can go when my prediction of the race is going to be a battle between Leclerc and Lewis.
Thank you, Dad. We'll see you next time in the podcast. Right, just quickly then, let's take a look at lap attack for the Italian Grand Prix. Monza is all about speed, so let's take a look then on board with the 2019 Ferrari, which happens to be on pole position for today's Italian Grand Prix. Open up the DRS, select 8th gear as you cross the line and battle it down now towards the first corner, the Rettifilo, a tight chicane modified back in 2000. hard brake down into second gear, right for turn 1, left for turn 2, back on the power at the exit, and pull up third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear, sixth gear, then seventh as you start to turn into the Curve de Grande. Pull eighth gear as you hurtle down to the Dalla Rosia chicane for turns 4 and 5. Heavy on the brakes once again in the 100-metre board. Drop down to third gear, throw the car in, and don't let it go too wide at the exit as you approach now to the Lesmo 1. Down, it's a banked corner, so fifth gear. The car rise up as you head towards Lesmo 2. Hard gear, fifth gear, all the way through, and get power on the exit. Open up the DRS then as you head down underneath the old banking here at Monza, last used in 1961. Into the Ascari chicane now. Hard brake, fifth gear, throw the car in, get the power on mid-corner, and just launch it down the back straightaway. It's okay to run wide there, all four wheels still on the track, as you head down towards the parabolica. 8th gear maximum then, hard on the brakes, drop down, 5th gear, launch the car in, get the power on, don't go 4 wheels off the track, you'll get the lap time deleted, and hurtle down to the line. Monza is all about speed, it's all about power, that's why they call it the Temple of Speed. The home of the Tifosi, let's hope Ferrari can win for the first time since 2010. Right, let's take a look then at the weather predictions for the Italian Grand Prix. Well, it was wet throughout the night, raining biblical weather at 2 a.m, but it's a dry track now for the Formula 1, and it should be a dry race as well. Pit stop predictions, it should be a one-stop, that's the quickest. The quickest is to go from the soft tyre to lap 22, then take the mediums to the end. A close quickest is soft to lap 19, but then put the hard tyre to the end. A slightly slower one-stopper is the mediums to lap 24 and then take the hards to the end, and the slowest is definitely a two-stopper, which is the softs to lap 16, then take another set of softs to lap 32, and then take the medium tyre to the end of the race on lap 53. It's only going to be about a 1 hour 20-minute race, so it shouldn't be that problem. Right, we'll be back on Tuesday for the Grand Review podcast. Enjoy the Italian Grand Prix here at Monza, Leclerc on pole, and can he do it again? Back-to-back wins? Who knows? See you later. Bye-bye.